Everybody, my name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And this is a special edition of the top performance of the week for high school football. And I'm pleased to have on not just a offensive player, also a defensive player for Joel Barlow, Danny Shaban, who has been putting up fantastic numbers. He's a junior, coming off a loss against Massac, really just had video game fantasy type numbers, and that's why he's on to be able to talk about it. And Danny, it's great to be able to have you on, man.
Thanks, man. It's great to be on here. Can't wait.
I think first and foremost, before we get into obviously a lot of stuff and, try to get as much as we can, just want to say the fact that you guys run the triple option, it's my favorite offense. Not many teams in the NVL run it. It's typically the single wing T, but the triple option, man, it's just one of those things where if it's ran correctly, it's impossible to stop.
Yeah, very true. As long as everyone does their job, which we make sure happens, it's very hard to stop. The quarterback reads it, and our quarterback reads it well, and we tend to get the job done. So
Now we're going to talk about obviously the football program in just a little bit, but yourself obviously, and you're fantastic athlete. You play football, you also play basketball, and you play lacrosse as well. I just want to turn the clock back a little bit, kind of to your youth. Now you have two older brothers, both fantastic players in their own right. One of them playing at Michigan State, playing lacrosse because he had knee problems on both of his knees. Do you think growing up with the older brother, your older brothers being so athletically God given, that it was kind of like how was that being around that?
it was awesome. I was known pretty much as just the little brother, little Shaven, and I grew up kind of just wanting to be like both my brothers, wanted to be as good as them. And I grew up playing with them, and I felt as if I could play. If I could play with them, I could play with anyone. So
Do you think also too that being around them kind of, I don't want to say helped your development, because it's hard to say, because if you have the talent, you have the talent. If you don't, you don't. But do you think kind of just watching them, because I'm sure you went to their games when you could, and just being around that, do you feel like that kind of helped as far as just seeing like what was expected, like how much they trained and how much they cared and just all of that?
yeah, definitely. Both my brothers cared so much, and it rubbed off a lot on me, and it kind of showed me what I had to do to be great. So I had to follow in their footsteps, and I'm trying to do the best I can now.
Now, being at Joel Barlow, and for people who may not know, Reading, Connecticut is, at least to my knowledge, not a very big town. I could be wrong. It's a small town. I'm pretty sure, didn't Charlie Morton come from Reading?
Yeah, yeah. Charlie Martin's from Joel Barlow. Yeah,
That's what I thought. The dude, he's by far the toughest guy. Broke his knee or broke
yeah,
his leg, whatever it was, and still threw 20 pitches before it finally giving. I mean, he should never have to buy another drink again in Atlanta. Now the World Series champions. But I feel like there's a lot, and beyond the fact of Charlie Morton, man, I feel like these small towns produce a lot of athletes. And I want to ask you this, because obviously between your brothers and Morton and all the others, what is it about Reading where there's just these athletes that just come out?
Honestly, I think it's because as a small town, like you said, we're overlooked. Kind of puts a chip on our shoulder. We got a lot of kids even in my school now. There's these two brothers who are both already committed to play D1 baseball, and we have a kid who played with my oldest brother, who's a starting O lineman at Vanderbilt right now. So it kind of just puts a chip on your shoulder. A lot of people don't think you can do a lot out of a small town like ours. But as long as you try hard, you get anywhere.
And you said your older brother plays at Vanderbilt, you said, right?
Not my older brother.
Oh,
Someone who played with my older brother
oh,
is
okay.
now playing offensive lineman there.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, again, it just the amount of talent that comes out of the small towns. And again, you talk about the chip on your shoulders. Did you ever feel like your brothers, and then obviously yourself, because of maybe being in that small town, kind of is what has given you the chip, kind of giving you that nudge to be like, we got to go a little bit harder, because we're not in the FCAC where everybody knows us. We're in a small town.
Yeah, definitely. especially when you play teams like we just did Massick, who are known for being very good, or we usually play Newtown. They're in our schedule a lot. Um, we feel that we're often overlooked, and we like to show we're going to run the triple option, we're going to run it well, and we're going to run it down your throat the whole game, and it's man on man, so whoever's a bigger man gets it.
As you were going through your development as an athlete, what sport would you say kind of was it like where would you grade as far as okay, because obviously football, you have basketball and you have lacrosse. Where was that during as you grew up? Was it lacrosse early? Was it football early? And then has that changed as you've grown up?
I started football first, I think in like third grade, and I started lacrosse about the same time. My parents just urged me to join as many sports as I can because I loved it. And then I started playing basketball. I also played baseball until high school when I had to choose between baseball and lacrosse. And I just, I love to stay active, but my family has been a big football family. My dad played for a little bit on the University of Colorado. He was an offensive lineman there before he quit. And it kind of rubbed off on me, like how good my bloodline was. So I was like, wow, I should really look into football.
That's pretty interesting. It seems like, obviously your dad having the talent to play in college and then it rubbing off on, his sons to a degree. I mean, obviously things have to happen, they have to work for it, but it just seems like that talent has been able to rub off on you three. And in your case, being able, and also your brother now who's playing at Michigan or Michigan State rather, uh, to be able to play multiple sports and to be able to maximize that potential. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's fun. So
Now, as you were kind of going through with basketball and also lacrosse, um, did you feel like playing football? Did you see any of those two sports kind of correlate with football, and then same thing with football to the two sports?
I see a lot of correlation with lacrosse because um, you know, when someone gets in my way in lacrosse, I'm known to run through them because I'm so used to football. But to basketball, it actually doesn't relate at all. You can clearly tell I'm a football player playing basketball. I'm more of like a
Mhm.
defensive specialist, downhill runner. Um, so yeah.
I was gonna say I watched your film before us coming on here, and again, every single piece that I watched, it was obviously the speed is noticeable, but you're a hard runner, and like you said, you're a downhill runner, and it just seems like something that I'm not typically seeing in Connecticut football. Do you ever like try to compare yourself to others, or do you just try to stick, to your own side and that's it?
I kind of try and stick to myself. I try and I see myself as like a mix of a lot of different players. I think I'm really a jack of all trades when it comes to skills. I think so.
Now, as you were entering high school and you were looking at, obviously you were going to play football, was did you start out as a freshman or a sophomore? What was it? Or no, sophomore year there it was because of COVID, so you couldn't play. So your freshman year, did you play a lot of varsity or no?
I wasn't even suited up my varsity for varsity. I was pretty disappointed.
Wow.
I thought I definitely had the skills, but it was just a rule that our new head coach implemented to don't put freshmen on varsity at the time. So I wasn't on varsity. I wasn't actually even starting on my freshman team. I was the backup quarterback there, and I played half the game. But I still made it work. I played the half, and I got stuff done. I still had a good time, but just gave me more of a chip because I knew I was better than that. So I was really hoping to come in my sophomore year and get it done like I am this year, but obviously that wasn't um, available. So just trying to get it done this year.
I want to talk about that, man, because obviously sophomore year you didn't play because of COVID. Nobody played because of COVID. But your freshman year, because of a rule, and then you barely even played. You said you were the backup. That must have lit quite a fire And again, whatever the coach's rules are, that's fine. I'm not saying here or neither here nor there. But the fact that you weren't playing a lot as a freshman, that had to really like did that kind of test like am I worthy of this? Am I able to play at this level? Like did you ever think about that?
Yeah, I definitely did. I trusted my coach. I have a great coach, great coaches, great coaching staff. So I trust what they said. They tried to get me on the field as much as possible because when I wasn't playing quarterback, they tried to put me in a running back. And I played defense. So I did start on defense, just not on offense. Not I didn't play as much as I thought I should, and
Mhm.
yeah, it did really light a fire under me. And I did a couple times think like, maybe I should just focus on the cross or something. But my brothers and my mom and my dad were always there to just say like, you know, you gotta fight through adversity. Like just keep trying it. Your time will come. So
Do you feel like too in some ways that not being able to play and it stinks that nobody could play because a lot of guys lost their last chance to play football, some to really kind of show their talents where they're having to go other places for football in college to maybe try to get to that ultimate goal. Do you feel like that lost season was a benefit for you because it gave you more time? Because who knows, maybe you were ready sophomore year, maybe you weren't. But after seeing what you're doing your junior year, it's hard to argue that the work that I'm sure you're about to say that you put in your sophomore year did not it only benefited you.
yeah, definitely helped me a lot during quarantine. There wasn't a lot to do, so I worked out a lot. At my father's house, there's a gym in the basement, like a pretty full set of weights and all that. So I was working out a lot, trying to get bigger and faster, and obviously that helped me a lot this year. But I feel as if I came in sophomore year, I think I would have been able to do the same stuff. So
And what were your goals as the season for this year started to become a reality? Heading into the summer when things were starting to look on the up and up with the vaccine and everything else. Um, what was your mentality as far as the summer was concerned?
make the state playoffs, help my team make the state playoffs, and I'm still trying to get there. Um, I was just trying to, be the best I could to help my team. So
Did you expect yourself to have like the numbers that you're putting up are just ridiculous. They're numbers that you don't typically see, especially from a junior who, like you said just a couple years ago, you were the backup. You went from the backup to the star in 2 years. That's pretty good, man. Did you expect this?
yeah, I've always known that I can do what I can do, and it's just a matter of like who's gonna give me a chance. I think it's the same on the collegiate level. I'm just waiting for someone to come by and give me a chance because I know I'll be able to make a difference there too. So
And just looking at the games that you've played thus far this year, as far as the team is concerned, or Joel Barlow, of late, you guys have won 3 or 4. Three or four. The most recent game was the loss to Massick, but you finish out, I think, against what was it? It's against Pomperog and also Weston,
yeah,
and both winnable games. And if you can win out and get a little bit of help, getting to the playoffs is not out of the realm of possibility.
yeah. I also think if we make it to the playoffs, I don't think there's anyone who can stop us. Everyone saw how we played with Masick, who's a big time team in a bigger league. I think if we could play with Masick, and I think we should have beat them, then we could play with anyone in our league. So
And you talk about the league that you play in. And for people who may not know, tell the people who don't even know about Joe Barlow as far as where you guys play. What league do you guys play in? And yeah, just tell them what league you play in.
we're a part of the SWC, the Southwest Conference, and we're in Class M. So we're we do play like Massac and Newtown, who are also in the Southwest Conference, but they're actually in Class L. So we play some bigger teams, and but most of the teams in SWC are Class M, so we also play a good amount of Class M.
And the SWC has had some pretty good teams. They've had Bunnell, they've had New Fairfield, who has a dynamic running back who I had on after his first game against Weston. He had 5 touchdowns, and I
Yeah,
think it was his first varsity game. I feel like the SWC is one of those conferences where obviously when you think about football, it's the FCAC first, and then I feel like it's everybody else. But the SWC, I think, can compete and say that it's been one of the top conferences this year, especially because of the alliance of being able to go outside and being able to compete against other teams from other conferences. I think it's been great.
Yeah, I agree. You know, like you said, people have been able to see what New Fairfield can do and Benel can do as well. And obviously, everyone knows what Newtown and Massac can do. As people will hopefully start to realize, Barlow's a force to be reckoned with as well. You know, the SWC can definitely play with the big boys. You know, I think if we got a chance to play some real teams, or not real teams, but some bigger teams, we
Mm-hmm.
could definitely put a beating on them. So
And like you said, though, too, if you just get into the playoffs, it's any man's game or woman's game, if case may be. But there's just it's a crapshoot because I've seen top ranked teams in the past lose to lower ranked teams, and I know the whole discussion about the tech teams and can they win against the St. Joe's? Maybe they can, maybe they can't. Who knows? This year in this past 2020, if it showed me anything, it said that change is always good, change isn't bad, and also too, give an opportunity if it's deserved. And I feel like if you guys can get there, it means you won out and you got some lucky breaks, which everybody needs. But also too, if you guys are given a chance, I feel like you'll step up to the challenge and give everything you have on the field.
100%. You know, that's what I think our team will become known for is giving every play 100%. Everyone on our team tries their hardest, and we like to finish plays and we like to finish games, and we try and win obviously as much as we can. And I think if we are to get into the state playoffs, I think we would make a dent. So
Danny, I really do appreciate you coming on. I just do have a couple more questions for you. Uh, as far as the players, I know we've talked about yourself. Is there anybody else on the team that you want to give some love to? I'm sure the offensive line's going to get it first, right? You got to make sure those guys are happy.
yeah, well, yeah, obviously first my offensive line is incredible. A lot of the credit's been given to me for the big game against Massac, but no one was really talking about the offensive line opening up such a big hole for me to run through. And then also with my quarterback, Woody Janke, Carter Janke, actually, he's making the right reads when he gives me the ball, it's not as hard. And, we have a lot of great players. We have Jack Wareheim, Charlie Guidera, Zach Herman. There's a lot of people that make a difference. And I think if we make it to state playoffs, those will all be names people are hearing about.
Now, as far as just looking further after football season, and I know basketball season literally is like 2 days after the season ends, depending on where you end. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know, hopefully we can get some sort of normality again. Hopefully no mass. Hopefully a state tournament. I could, I don't know too much about the Barlow basketball team. You could help me out with that in just a moment. But just looking at for yourself as far as for football and being able to play at the next level. What are because with being a triple option quarterback, it's kind of hard. Like, where are you going to go? Like, you're going to be solely a running back? Are you going to be maybe trying to go for defense? Where do you think you could possibly end up at the next level?
I think I'm gonna try for running back. I think I could definitely be a great running back. But my brothers always said if I go to play D1, it's gonna be on defense. They think I'm a more of a defensive player. So I'm really just kind of waiting for the college to pick because depending on who gives me a chance, I'm willing to do whatever they need. So
Now, what happens if it's not Division 1, but it's one of the high Division 3 teams? Like, when I think of, because I broadcast in the NESCAC, so I see the Trinities, I see the Wesleyan. It's very competitive. It's one of the better D3 programs. So if Trinity was to knock on your door, because I know they have quite a bit of Connecticut talent on their roster, if they said, "Hey, Danny, we want you to come over to us and be our linebacker or be whatever the case may be," would you be willing to? Because I know it's not Division 1, but would you be willing to say, "You know what, I'll give it a look"?
um, kind of depends on the school. I don't know a lot about Trinity academic wise. I'm pretty sure it's a great school though. I've heard it's a good school,
Hmm.
but I'm definitely looking for more of a D1 look, and hopefully like as big as a D1 as I can get. I think if I'm just given a chance, I can do even better. I've only
Hmm.
had 99 carries this whole season, and I'm already over 1,000 yards. So I think if college gives me a chance, then I think I can really make a spark. So.
And there's not a lot of tread on the tires either. Only 99 carries, and you didn't play your sophomore year. You barely played your freshman year. You're basically like a brand new car who's been barely off the lot.
Yeah.
That's basically like it is. Not to refer you to a car, but I'm just referring to the tires.
Yeah.
So if Saban comes to your house, I take you're not even gonna let him walk in the door. You're just gonna see him and go, yeah, I'm gonna go there. That's it. Goodbye. Right?
Yeah. Well, if any big college team like that were to come by, I would be probably the happiest I've ever been in my whole life, and obviously I would take that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, Saban can't do wrong. I mean, all he's done is win, man. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Danny, real quick, as far as basketball is concerned, while I have you and you play basketball, what can, obviously, because I broadcast in the NBL, so I typically don't see teams outside the NBL unless they come here or I'm doing state tournament games. Who knows? I could be doing a Barlow game down the road. Who knows? What could I expect if I do a game down the road to expect from the Barlow basketball team? I mean, what could I possibly see?
You're gonna see a lot of scrappy guys out there trying their hardest to win, pushing the ball, pressing. We're a good team. We're connected well. We have a lot of chemistry. And I think we could actually do very well this year. So hopefully you will be seeing us in the state tournament or something like that.
And hey, if I do see you guys, you better come over to the table and shake my hand.
Oh,
That's
I
all I
will.
expect.
I will, sir. Yeah.
Awesome, buddy. But Danny, it's great to be able to have you. I'm glad that you have another year to be able to showcase your talents because I feel like you're not even at the ceiling yet. I feel like you're only at 30% of what you're showing because I feel like you can be even better. And I mean that, and I don't mean that as a negative way. I think you just have that talent to do that. And I hope you get the opportunity by Division 1 coaches and teams to give you an opportunity. But you're having a great season. I wish your team nothing but the best of luck. Hopefully you make the playoffs. If not, get them next year, and hopefully I'll see you during basketball.
All right. Thanks, man. It was great to come on. Hope to see you soon.
Definitely, man. I'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm not during the Find Them All. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.